G'day and welcome to episode 97 of the Guy Who Sews podcast. My name is Sean and this is my weekly update where I share my quilting adventures. I'd like to welcome both new and returning viewers to the podcast, but if you are new, I would love it if you take just a few moments to say hi in the comments so we all know we have a new friend. Come see what I've been up to, what I've completed, and what we have planned in the very near future. But let's go ahead and get started with our works in progress. I had a great week. I got quite a bit done, and I'm very excited to be able to show you quite a few different objects this week. The first thing I want to show you is the somber quilt, which is one that I pieced together late last year, and now I'm in the middle of quilting, and you might be able to see here, hopefully, that I'm just doing very basic straight line quilting, because I need to get this done, because it's for our exchange student Lorenzo, and it's getting cold, and we want to make sure he has something nice to sit under. So it's a nice series of different solids. It goes from a yellow through orange into different reds, and then there's dark red down here somewhere as well. You come back next week because we should be finished quilting, binding it, and hopefully be on the bed for him to be able to use, and you'll be able to see the update for that next week. And then the other one I've been working on, I was hoping to get this block finished, but I didn't quite make it. I'm about halfway done, is the White Rabbit from the Mad Quilt Party, which is the Alice in Wonderland themed sew-along by Art East Quilting Co. And this is how he is looking so far, and I think he's turning out super cute. It's all Tula Pink fabrics, and even the nose. At first, I was not sure about that actual color, but I went and watched the movie, Disney movie that came out, a few years ago, and the nose on that rabbit in the movie actually is that dark. So I thought, we'll keep that one now. I'm not going to switch it out. So that's what I have in my works in progress, but I have some finished blocks to show you later on in the episode, and a lot more fun news, so don't run off. But let's go ahead and talk about our week in review. And if you are new to the channel, this is a series of videos I take during the week, mostly of me sewing, but also any of the dogs and any adventures that the boys, Amanda and I, get up to. So I hope you enjoy. Last week I asked everybody if you sewed barefoot with socks, slippers, shoes, or something else, and I loved hearing all the answers. A lot of you are like me and prefer to sew barefoot, but some use socks and shoes and slippers, especially if you're up in one of those colder areas, and I totally get that. It was fun reading all those responses. This week I was curious, because we talked about this briefly yesterday, is do you cut all your fabric for a pattern first, or do you cut a block at a time? And I usually cut a block at a time, especially if it's a complicated pattern like this, because who wants to sit there and cut out 1,000 and some pieces all at once? We can just do block by block. But if it's a simpler pattern like the one behind me, yes, then I will probably go ahead and just cut it all out at once just to make my life easier. I'd love to hear how you tackle the cutting aspect of it in the comments. And so I'd like to give a special birthday shout out to two of my content creator friends. The first was yesterday for my friend Tiffany from Tiffany's Quilting Life. I hope you had a great day and that you just enjoyed the day and all about you. And today is my friend Martha from Martha's Creative Life. It's her birthday. I hope you have a wonderful day, Martha. I hope Paul and the family and your friends spoil you today and you just enjoy celebrating you today. And if you have a birthday in November, let me know in the comments so that way I can say hi to you guys as well. I think it's always fun to celebrate birthdays. And so now it is time to talk about my goals. And the first thing I'd like to be able to do is finish this rabbit here, because we're halfway done. It shouldn't take too much longer to complete that one. I'd like to be able to finish the somber quilt that I showed you a little earlier. And then I'd also like to cut out the next block for the Fab Farm. And I'd love to hear your opinion on this. Would you like me to cut out the chicken, the sheep, or the horse? Because that's really the last 3 blocks we have to go in the sunflower. But I think we'll do the animals first. Let me know in the comments. And I'd also love to hear what your goals are for this week in the sewing world. So next up is our questions and answers section, and I cannot remember the lady's name who asked this question, and I can't seem to find it in the search this morning, but she asked, how do I do an accurate 1/4 inch seam each time? The first thing is definitely practice. The more you practice, the better it gets. It's not a skill that I think most can pick up right away. Second, I would suggest doing a swatch. Sew some strips together, measure it, make sure it's accurate. There's different methods of doing this. You can look it up online, and then most patterns like the Elizabeth Hartman and Art East actually also show you how to do that as well. So definitely do that. Stay on the same machine. If you start a project on one machine, if at all possible, stick with that machine until it's done, because your 1/4 inch on that versus another is going to be different, and it can make a difference. And finally, a good 1/4 inch foot like this with a guide. Let me see if I can show you a little better. Definitely helps, because the fabric will feed into it and not, skew off that way as well. And the second question that came in was, what was the name of my wife's channel? My wife Amanda is a wonderful knitter, prize-winning knitter. She's won, all sorts of awards at the state fair, and I'm super proud of her. And she has her own YouTube channel. It is called Dog Mom Knits, and the link to that is also in the description. So if you love knitting, or you have an interest in knitting, or just like to sit there and listen to my wife talk about knitting, because it's really fun listening to her, definitely go over and check it out, subscribe, like, and all that good stuff there as well. She would love it if you did that. As many of you know, I've entered a few state fairs over the last few years, and I've picked up 2 third places in 21 and 22, and are highly commended on the quilt behind me in 2023. And I want to give a special shout out to a few of my friends who have also entered state fairs this year and won some prizes. The first one is my friend Deidre Powell, and she entered the North Carolina State Fair and picked up a 4th place on her quilt quite recently. And then Patty C. entered her state fair down in Arkansas and picked up 2 third places, which I think is really, really cool. And then my friend Stephanie from Quilting with Stephanie Stitches also entered the Ohio State Fair earlier this year and picked up a 3rd place. So congratulations to all 3 of you ladies. I think it's awesome. If you ever enter a fair and win a prize, or just enter one, let me know. I always love hearing your quilt show stories and the successes and the lessons you learn from that. And so now it is time for news and events. And the first one is Vlogtober is done. It was a daily challenge where I showcased a different quilt throughout the month of October, and it was a lot of fun doing that. And we had so much fun. We've decided to continue this series on a weekly basis going forward. I asked everybody for name suggestions, and I loved all the names that came in. There were some wonderful names. But the name that I'm leaning towards and going to start with, and it could always change, is Investigating Quilts. Because what we've been doing is taking a quilt, investigating it, and seeing what little things we can learn from it, and the cool things behind it, and the stories and so forth. So keep an eye out for those videos. They should start on Mondays, starting tomorrow. So that's going to be a lot of fun. The next thing I want to talk about is my live that I had yesterday with my friend Donnell from Donnell Stitchery. We had a fun time hanging out, and if you haven't checked out her channel, definitely go over and see what it's all about. She's fairly new. She's got about 130 subscribers so far. It'd be really cool if we can bump that number up a little more. And then I need to confirm with this, but I believe we're going to have my friend Jamie from the Quilting Compound join me this week. It's going to be a lot of fun to have her hang out with me on Saturday morning, so don't miss that one as well. And so now it is time to show you some completed objects. I have one quilt block and a quilt top to show you, but let's start off with the quilt block. It is the Fab Farm pattern by Elizabeth Hartman, and this is a collab that I'm doing with my friend Stephanie from Stephanie Stitches, Shannon from Slay Arts, and Stephen Bland from Bland Designs and the Idiot Quilter. This is like the 4th or 5th block I've done, and this one is the goat, and I think it turned out really, really cute. We'll pull it back just a little bit so you can see the whole block. And I absolutely love this. I love the fabric that I chose here. I'm pulling everything from stash. I have not gone to the store for a single thing for this, and I think that's part of the fun of this challenge. And it's just, turning out really, really cute. It's going together now. I've done the strawberry, the cow, the sheep, and the piggy. Yeah, so that's what I did. And now it is time to be able to show you the completed quilt top. You may have seen this already if you watched the live reveal from Cotton Cuts earlier this week, but this is the small lavender colorway, the Village Green Puzzle Mystery Quilt, and I think it turned out super, super cute. It's almost impossible to show a quilt top in one go without doing like a photo and that sort of thing there, so I'll put that up in just a second, but this is how it turned out, and yeah, I think it just turned out super beautifully. These fabrics went together so well. At first I wasn't quite sure how it was going to turn out, but I think it turned out beautifully. Let me know what you think of this colorway as well. If you want to see the large version of this, definitely head over to the Cotton Cuts reveal. I'll put it in the description below, so that way you can kind of compare the small that I did and the large that the team at Cotton Cuts did as well. I hope you enjoyed today's podcast. If you did, definitely hit the like button, share with a friend, and leave me a comment. I always love interacting with my viewers. It might take me a moment to get back to you, but I do read and respond to every comment that is received. Hope you all have a great day. Happy sewing, and we'll see you tomorrow for Investigating Quilts.